Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Rohr Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
All right, welcome to episode 122, the last episode of 2022.
Wow.
It's just a coincidence.
Yeah. I feel like you should play the lottery or something. There you go.
Based on that. No wonder I never win if I play based on stupid shit like this.
Number 22.
Number 22.
Welcome.
So the Georgia State meet is full. 300 lifters, they got it shut down. So it's going to be a big one.
How big is it typically? Is it usually that big?
No. I think last year they had somewhere around like 250, 240, something like that. I think 2015 we had 270, I believe. But that was the last year that we had, it was like the Georgia State and Southern States. So it wasn't just Georgia lifters. So this is by far, like last year was by far the biggest just Georgia State meet, and then this year is obviously bigger than that. So wow. It's getting big.
And capped at 300 lifters.
Yeah.
Even with the price increase.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually blown away by that. Moving on. So one question people asked us to talk about is recovery. So do you have any go-to recovery methods?
Sleep.
Yes.
Making sure you get plenty of sleep. I think it's something that we as a culture undervalue. That we, go. And then we'll sleep later, sleep when we're dead. And I don't think you can overstate the value of sleep and good quality sleep. I had a sleep doctor and he was like, yeah, we're going to find out that the downfall of society was like the electric light. Because people used to go to sleep when it was dark and get up when it was light, and that's kind of how the human body works. And we don't do that. I have noticed a big difference in both my physical and mental outlook just by making sure I go to sleep in a reasonable time and get up at pretty much the same time every day, even if it's a weekend. I'm up at 6:30 in the morning, and maybe it's an old person thing. Like you just start getting up at that time. When you get used to it. I never thought that would happen. So what are your thoughts?
No, I agree 100%. I was kind of hoping you didn't say that because that was going to be my big argument there. I have some other things, but it's one of those things like if you go to a recovery specialist and they charge you $200 an hour for their advice, and you're willing to pay it, you're willing to buy whatever supplements, nutrition, things like that. But if you go to somebody that charges you $250 an hour and they say you need to sleep more, you're going to blow it off because people don't take it seriously. But it literally is like the best thing you can do for recovery, and it's free. Like you don't have to pay to do that. Just fucking go to sleep and sleep 8-9 hours a day. Like if you're really training seriously, really training hard, like you probably need 8, 9, 10 hours a night. And you'd be surprised how much training volume you can handle when you are sleeping that much. And I know that's not realistic for everybody, but again, we're talking about people that are, really, really serious and really want to take training to the next level. And recovery is the limiting factor, and sleep is the limiting factor of recovery. So just figure out a way to sleep more. Like, don't stay up and watch TV at night. When you get up in the morning, figure out a way to make your morning routine a little more efficient so you don't have to get up quite as early. If, that's the limiting factor. I mean, there's ways to figure this out. Just do it. Like, and I'll be honest, if you don't really give a shit enough about training to be bitching about it. Like that is such a free, easy thing to do. Not easy. I guess easy is not the right word, but it's very reasonable and manageable to do. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't don't pretend like you really are taking training that seriously.
Yeah, I would
Let me, let
agree.
me, let me get off my
It's
high horse now.
boy, yeah. Well, and it's easy to say when you don't have small children, but you do. Um, that can definitely influence your sleep. Or if you have a job that has later shifts, it's hard. But just kind of turning things down at a reasonable time. I've also read some talk about read some studies about not eating 3 hours before you sleep, because your body kind of shuts off, and then it's very hard for your body to digest the food as you're sleeping. Um, that's what I have difficulty with, because I actually go to bed now at, like, I don't know, 9:30 at night, which is um, pretty early, I guess. We used to go to bed at 11 and get up at, like, I remember on my alarm clock said 4:51 every morning, and that was hard. That was rough, and I couldn't figure out why I felt like butt all the time. Huh? That would be why. Um, but not eating 3 hours before you go to sleep, that means I have to make my dinners earlier. I have to push everything down earlier, and my if I'm going to train, I got to train earlier. If I'm going to eat, I got to eat by 6:30, and it just kind of moves things a little bit. But the days that I can do that and manage that, boy, it feels so much better. Low hanging fruit.
Yeah. So assuming everybody's doing this for their sleep and eating habits, what else can people do for recovery?
Um, I think knowing when you're pushing your limits a little bit and kind of backing off when you're feeling like you're a little bit stretched thin. And I think one thing we don't take into account is sometimes a mental load. Like when you have a lot mentally going on, it actually puts a load on your system more than we think. So keeping keeping a lot of things in mind and being able to pivot, being flexible enough to pivot when you need to
Yeah.
adjust.
Yeah. And that's almost reverse engineering it a little bit. Like, you need to recover. Like, we're talking about recovery because we need to recover from all the things going on in our lives, right? It's training, stress, whatever. Well, sometimes there's pieces that you can get rid of, I guess, that are, maybe stressing you out, that really are not that important, or things you can remove, or to help with the amount of stress you need to recover from. So that's always something. I think, going back to what you said with the mental thing, I mean, some people like to meditate in the morning, at night, whatever, that helps them sleep, that helps them kind of de-stress. Well, if you're not as stressed, there's less to recover from, theoretically. So, I mean, all those things kind of tie in together. One thing I like doing, not just from a physiological standpoint, but like the contrast showers is something that I like doing. So, you know, you're supposed to go like hot, or you're supposed to start cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, and then finish on cold. It's 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. But, I'm too much of a wimp to do that. We've talked about that before. So I always start warm and then go cold, hot, cold, hot. But that does a couple things. Physiologically, I guess the idea behind it is, like, blood vessels constrict and dilate when you do that. So it forces blood in, forces blood out, and it gets blood circulating in the muscles, which obviously helps recovery, right? But how you feel after that is so much more relaxed and so much more, I guess, just like, almost like you just let out a deep breath, and you just feel your shoulders relax. Like, that's how I feel afterwards. So just, even if it does nothing except for that, that's still a big deal. It just helps you get kind of, at least it helps me get just kind of relaxed. And, you know, if I was stressed about anything, like, I just feel a lot more level headed and clear headed, and it can function, I guess, a lot more efficiently. So, that's an option. Again, that's free too. Like, you don't have to do anything fancy. I mean, I guess we should mention too, nutrition. Like, that's obviously a huge role, but, part of my assumption is that if people are asking for recovery methods, that they've already kind of checked off the go-to ones, which is sleep and nutrition. But I guess the reality, though, is probably that's not the case, but it's the assumption it should be the case, I guess. So, contrast showers, that's one thing I like to do. I think massage work, soft tissue work is helpful too, especially if you have, nagging things that are kind of bothering you a little bit here and there, or you just feel tight. Sometimes getting worked on can kind of, again, get that circulation going, get those muscles loosened up. But if you're eating well, proper nutrition, and you're sleeping well, like those two things alone can really make a big difference if you're not doing them.
Yeah. I don't understand how like people can drink and stay up late and wake up hungover and keep doing it. Like I just can't even imagine. Like I'm not a morning person, and I feel so horrible in the morning. I'm just like always staggered, like thinking that anybody ever does that.
Yeah.
Just can't, but that's me. I don't drink. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how people, I mean, I've been around, like, I mean, shoot, I'll just throw Uncle Jeremy used to brag about, going out and coming in and training and having his best workout hungover, but that was also Uncle Jeremy back in the, early 2000s when we were in college. So I think we can do a lot more, when we're younger that way, but also like in the big picture, like how much stress did we have at that age? Yeah, we were in college. Yeah, we had finals, things like that. But in the big picture, like looking back, like our lives revolved around eating, sleeping, and training. So if we went out one night and drank and came in and trained and still had a good workout, that's not super surprising. If we do that now, like if I did that now, like I'd be wrecked for a week or two.
Oh gosh, I go to sleep late one night and I'm like, oh, recovering for the entire week. It just,
Yeah.
things are different when you're a little bit older.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. So here you go, Josh. You're in second place. Your competitor has already completed their third deadlift, moved into first with a new state record total. Your second attempt and PR deadlift is 192.5 kilos, but you think you're good for right around 200. A third deadlift of 200 kilos will tie their total and you'll win on body weight, but you won't get the state record total. If you go to 202.5, you win and break the total, but if you miss, you get neither. What do you turn in for your third attempt?
This is actually pretty easy for me. I turn in the minimum to win. So I would turn in 200, and, this is a very rare situation where you would win and not get the state record total, because how records work, it's whoever does it first. And for placing, it's whoever has the highest total, or if you tie, it's whoever weighs less. So in this situation, we would have one person would win the meet with the same total as the other person that has the state record total. So it'd be two different people. It's kind of a weird, rare scenario, but for me, it's always about the titles. I think records are going to be broken, and titles are forever. So I don't. The only way for me. So as a lifter, I would always go for the title. Now, the only way I would put the 202.5 on is if, the lifter I'm coaching is just adamant, like that's all they cared about coming in was getting the state record total. Okay, then we gamble, but they have to know the scenario. Like if they miss, you end up second and you don't get the state record total. So if the title doesn't mean that much to them and it's all about the record, then yeah, we maybe put it on. But that also means that 192.5 had to look good, because if it didn't,
would any of that change if this was an American record that was on the line?
No. For me, no. World record, American record, no. I think for some of our lifters, yes, they would feel differently. But I feel like the title means more than the record, because the record's probably going to get broken at some point, and you're going to have another chance to break the record, but you're not going to have a chance to get this title again.
True. Agree.
Cool.
I'd love to, be controversial and be like, no, you're wrong. But no, this one.
So everything I just said was false. I would absolutely go for no, I'm just kidding.
Nice. Taco Bell sucks or is good?
I love where the hell did this come from? So I love Taco Bell. It is terrible for you, but I think it tastes good.
There you go.
May or may
Controversy.
not.
I think it sucks.
There you go. Okay.
Well, just because it's, big fast food.
Yeah.
And I hate the idea of big fast food companies. They're
Yeah.
just, yeah, perpetuating the junk that Americans eat. And by in turn, like it gets pushed down to the rest of the world. And so by supporting Taco Bell, you're making the whole world fat. There you go, Josh.
There you go.
My thoughts.
And going back and circling back to recovery, like, fast food, all of those just processed things like that is not great for recovery. It causes inflammation in the body. It causes everything to not function as optimally, not to mention you're getting zero nutritional value out of it. So it's not great if you're really trying to optimize your performance. Where did the Taco Bell thing come from?
random post from
from
Team
the
Rohr Discord.
Discord. Yeah. Okay.
I saw you being controversial, and I was like, Taco Bell.
I didn't start that. Daria started that.
Oh,
but
Daria, nice.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess
can't
this
say
would
I've
be
actually ever eaten at a Taco Bell. I never have ever. So it might be great.
So there was, I mean, it tastes good, but like I said, I mean, you may or may not have like stomach issues later. If you're used to eating clean, you may, things like that. But I guess this is a good time to mention it. So we recently, within the last couple of days, made one of our channels on our Discord public. It used to only be, we still have a private channel just for our lifters and coaches, but we decided to go ahead and make a public channel just so we can start kind of communicating a little bit more detailed with anybody that's interested, I guess, in powerlifting and has questions and things like that. So if you are interested in joining that, I'm not sure, there's a link in our Team Rohr Instagram bio to join. And again, it's free. Anybody can join. You don't have to be a team member. You don't have to ever get coached by us to join the public one. So we're going to start beginning of the year. We're going to start posting more kind of informational things, probably do a few videos here and there, and just kind of start more of a discussion, just kind of broad strokes discussion. And, hopefully answer some questions for people.
Nice. That's awesome. So you could ask questions publicly to a team or coach.
Full transparency. I don't know how often I'm going to be on there answering questions, but so far there's been other coaches, other high level lifters that have joined. So I think there's a very good community already of people that have a lot of background in powerlifting and a lot of knowledge to share. So I think, even if it's not one of our coaches posting, there's going to be a lot of information kind of going around in there. Nice. My plan is to post something at least once a month that's kind of like not groundbreaking or anything, but just like knowledge that a lot of people maybe need to hear.
So knowledge bombs dropped by Josh Rohr.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice. All right. So let's go into the new lifter tip. When loading or unloading a bar or when raising the rack, do it evenly. This works best if you have someone on each side working together.
Yep.
There was a time, there was a time where I think I was squatting like 315 and I took all the plates off one side and was totally like brain farting completely. And the bar flipped over and really could have like totally killed somebody, but it flipped over and landed right next to you. And you looked over, kind of blinked, and then went back to what you were doing completely. Just nonchalant. Oh, hey, the bar just flipped up at me. No big deal. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what life I'm on, but I've had so many bars flipped and land next to me that, and knock on wood, like I've never been hit by one yet, but how I have not been hit by one, I don't know, because it's happened so much. So that's the reason for the tip. Like when you're people get in a hurry at meets and they'll just like strip one side off real quick, assuming that somebody's over there doing the other side, I guess is the reasoning. And sometimes there's not. So that bar flips and I've seen people get hit by the bar and get hit pretty badly. So it's one of those things, just be aware and make sure that, it doesn't have to be 100% even. Like if you got 3 plates on one side and 2 on the other, like that's going to be okay. But if again, your situation, so I've done some math on this a little bit, and this is don't hold me to this because it's not exactly right all the time. But if you have racks out and you have 2 plates on one side and 0 on the other, the 0 end is just hovering, which means it could go at any second, but it doesn't immediately flip. So like if you ever see somebody like loading 2 plates on one side, like that's the red flag. Stop. Don't do that. If the rack, here's another one. If there's 1 plate on one side, you can actually put up to like 5 or 6 on the other side, and that 1 plate on the other side will keep it balanced. But that's dangerous because if anybody pulls that 1 plate off, then it goes really fast. If the racks are in, then that ratio is much less. 1 plate on one side and 0 on the other is like balancing, ready to flip when the racks are in because the fulcrum is closer. So anyway, the only reason, again, trying to save lives here with this one, don't, make sure you're unloading it and loading it evenly as you can. And having somebody on the opposite side working in tandem is always a good thing because then you can still load and unload fast, but keep it even. The other thing that happens a lot is people raise one side of the rack real high without the other one moving. And if there's no collars on, or if somebody's in the process of loading, then that side that's on the low side, all those weights slide off. And then the bar's unbalanced and flips over. So it's actually, you get danger on both sides of the rack when that happens.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen that at meets where, spotters and loaders are going so fast that they're almost dumping weights onto somebody who's loading the bar, turned around to get another plate, and the weights are coming down at them. Bad day. Don't do that. But, I've also seen this in training. So it's not just something to look at. Yeah. In training, boy, it's just anytime.
So that's just one thing I've always, it's almost like almost like a instinct now. Like I'm always just looking, like if I'm walking through a warm-up room, even if I'm not on that rack, like I'm looking before I get to it to see, is it about to flip over? Nope. Okay, I'm safe. Is that about to flip over? Nope. And it's just one of those things, like I'm always looking, and I don't know how many times I've been walking through and I see somebody about to take a weight off, somebody, again, a platform I'm not even working on, and I just instinctively go grab the bar so it doesn't flip. And then I'm like, hey, this is going to flip if I let go. And they're like, oh shoot. Yeah. And then like the light bulb goes off. So I don't know. I'd say, I'm just trying to think, like that's happened. I think at least the last 3 nationals I've been at in a row where I've saved at least 1 bar from flipping. So
yeah. Josh Rohr, saving lives.
Yeah.
It's real though. I mean, you only have so many lives, Josh. You've probably used up 9 of them.
I know. I'm
like
thinking.
So don't go there.
I'm thinking I'm probably about out. I need to. I don't know. I need to. So cat. How do you do, like, we need like the Super Mario Brothers where you can like get another life. Like, how do you do that in real life?
Yeah, I'll let you know when I figure it out.
Cool. Sounds good.
So did you have a nice Christmas?
I did. It was pretty good. Some of our family weren't able to make it down because of the snowstorm up in Ohio. So they're still tentatively planning on coming, but there's still like a level 1 snow emergency in Ohio right now. So don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it was good though. Yeah. How about you?
Oh, pretty chill. Chill. Just had family up and no big deals. No snow, no drama, or not much drama. Never no drama. Come on, it's my family. So it was good.
Cool.
And then looking forward to 2023.
2023, it's coming.
A new year. Yeah, very soon. So what's going to be new and different for you in 2023, Josh?
I'll probably trim my beard again at some point in 2023. but no
Once it gets
guarantees.
to be springtime or it gets warmer.
Yeah. So the only thing, I mean, nothing really new, I guess, but one thing I'm going to try to do a little bit better with is, posting more content both in Discord and on our social media, just try to get more discussion and share more information. That's one thing I want to do, but again, the actual clients I'm working with come first. So if I'm not able to stay caught up with that, then I'm not going to be doing the extra stuff, but that is something I'd like to do. I don't know.
You turned a master's lifter in 2023?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess that's
call it a comeback. Or call it a comeback.
Well, it's not it technically is not a comeback because I never really stopped. Like it's hard to define because in 2012, like I saw a video that I posted back in 2012 of me like making my comeback that I never actually finished making, but I did compete. So I think my comeback per se was me starting to train like really seriously and try to get back to like that high level that I used to be at. But I think the reality is that that's not where I'm at right now, or maybe will ever be again. And that's okay. I just enjoy it. So even though that was technically my beginning of my comeback that never happened, like I've competed multiple times since then, at the local and national level, but just not, I haven't taken training as seriously as I could, or, really gotten to put it this way. I'm not lifting what I'm capable of if I were to put more priority on it, I guess. Right. At this point, like it's hard, like being the cheerleader and everything for everybody else, because it does take a lot out of you. And there's days where I'm just like, I don't want to train. I don't want to be at the gym after this. Like, it was just a lot. But there's other days that I do, but I wouldn't trade it though. Like I feel like I had my time, where, I was in a fortunate spot where I had a lot of good coaches around me, a lot of good lifters that helped me. And, I was training and competing at that, elite level for, a good 7, 8 years. And, I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's my time to pass it on, I think.
Yep. Hey, life's priorities change sometimes. And I think that's okay, And
that's the thing. That's the beauty of powerlifting too. Like I can still go sign up for it and do a meet, and, I might not win or break records or get top 10 even. Who cares? Like if I enjoy it, then I'm going to go do it.
Or you can be like me, who just lifts in the garage for fun here and there, and I'm okay with that too. I don't need to compete. Okay.
I feel like at some point you're gonna change your mind on that.
We'll see.
Because that's the
2023.
Thing. So maybe Laura Sturm still has the, if I'm going to compete, I have to be the best mentality. And Josh Rohr had that mentality for a while too, but that's not, I guess I put it this way. I'm not willing to put in the time, effort, and work and sacrifices that it takes to be at that level. And that doesn't mean I can't compete, because I enjoy competing. So I'm still going to compete and I'm still going to lift, but yeah, I'm not willing to do what it takes to be at that level. And, I think in a lot of sports, like that means it's time to retire. But in powerlifting, it's different. Like you just don't have to lift as much weight. You can still go in and compete. I don't know what my message here is.
Food for thought. Well, I know what you're saying, that, just to compete, you don't have to compare yourself to where you were, in kind of like another life, because that's what it feels like right now.
Right.
That you can just compete for the fun, for the joy of it.
Yeah. And I genuinely enjoy the competition aspect of it. So like whatever that meet, the Savage Open, when it was you, me, Ben Green, and we're all, and well, I won't mention Doc because he beat all of us, but but we were all competing against each other by dots. Like that was fun to me. Like I had a blast. Like I remember, I mean, you beat Ben and I, but I remember, shoot, I'm getting meets mixed up, but I remember like Ben and I were like really close, and I remember it was a lot of fun for me to compete with Ben, you know? So, you know, regardless of what level you're at, like it's still, there's still people to compete with, even if you, if you want to, and you don't even have to, like you can, like I said, compete with your current self or just go and have fun. But like for me, regardless of what level I'm at, like I'm going to find somebody to compete with in some aspect. You know, it might be, you know, competing to not get last place, and maybe I end up last anyway. Who knows? But it's the competition aspect of it I like.
There you go. We'll see what 2023 has to bring.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Never say never. Oh, that's Laura is saying never say never to her competing again, is what I took away from that.
I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to be 2023. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Anyway, well, the peer pressure will always be there, but you don't have to give in to it.
I'm not. I am immune to peer pressure.
You're like, I don't give a shit about your peer pressure. It means nothing to me.
I give no fucks.
This is going to make some Georgia people mad, but go Buckeyes on Saturday. Georgia is playing Ohio State. And it's probably going to be a pretty one-sided event. I think Georgia's going to probably win pretty handily, but I am an Ohio State fan, being from Ohio, and as soon as people hear this, if they didn't already know, they're probably going to be pretty upset with me. I'm probably off the Christmas card list for a lot of people for next year.
Yeah, that probably did it right there. Sorry.
Yeah, but I am who I am. So.
Farm boy from Ohio.
Yep. But yeah, other than that, everybody have a happy new year. And if you are interested in joining our Discord, check out the link in our bio on Instagram at Team Rohr. And you can follow the podcast on Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can shoot us an email anytime at plballadspodcast@gmail.com. If you're interested in coaching, we do have multiple options, multiple coaches. We do have an app subscription if you're not interested in the one-on-one coaching. So we have multiple ways to get you strong. And in 2023, we're going to be doing some big things as a team. So be on the lookout for that. More information coming soon.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Stay strong.
Stay strong.
Bye now.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.